So this is a new thing I'm going to try doing on Petals, is a little bit of open learning. I see a lot of our engineers do this sometimes. They've got a problem they want to solve. They might jump on a video call with a friend and sort of mob it, swarm it, whatever. I like the idea of doing stuff in the open as much as possible, as you probably can tell with Petals. I'm not in my normal formal guise today. It's going to be very casual. I've got nothing scripted at all, nothing outlined. I have a problem statement that I want to deep dive into. So I'm just going to go through this in the open and record it and see how it comes out. It could be 5-10 minutes, could be nearly an hour, hopefully not. But I will be using my typical setup. I'm not going proper camera mode. I'm just going to use my little FaceTime camera because it's going to be a little thumbnail in the corner. I have got my proper mic set up, so hopefully the audio is okay. And you'll be mostly looking at the screen anyway. So there we go. So what I'm going to do, I raised a question earlier in the week to find out about design systems. What was out there, what's still hot and relevant, what's useful, what people are using, what's popular and adaptable as well. This is all for the Petals app that we are building right now. So I asked around, and my good old mate Mark Littlemore, he instantly pointed me to like material design from Google, which I know from previous efforts that it's a very versatile solution. It's quite popular as well, quite easy to implement. I've not looked at it for a long time, as I said further down the line, but I was curious to see what else there was in the market. So what I want to try and do is create some sort of design framework that I can plug into, well, we can use in our custom app that's consistent with the branding. So I've got a few tabs open here from Canva. We've got the obvious branding that I've got here with the yellow backgrounds and monochrome duotone photography. I've got the nice bold text with the Gegu font that I use here and a monospace font to complement it as well. Got the colourful flowers here as well. And you can see with the other examples like the show art, you know, it's bringing in other photos, but similar sort of style, right? White outlines as well, just to make it pop and stand out a bit more. So that's the sort of style I want to go down the route of as well. I also want to try and use these graphics that I've got that I use on the petals.team website. So, you know, it's going to be very people focused, obviously, and I want to make sure that that can be used and applied in a framework that we introduce. And again, it's just more variations of this. So you can see here, like the font, the logo that I've used. I've never gone down this route. I've just been playing around some ideas here of how do I visualize the 5 factors on the flower. I've tried it with the letters as well. And if you've watched the snapshots, you'll see that I've used this visual to kind of create snapshot scores. So you can see like in its full form there. So yeah, I've got a few things I've been playing around with here that I want to kind of bring it all together with. The graphics, the artwork. And what I'm going to do is just rewind a little bit. So going back a bit, actually, when I started talking to Brian about an app, quickly wireframed like the first flow, the onboarding flow. He's already worked on the user registration process. And it's going to be very basic stuff, very obvious stuff like what's your name, email and password. He has also introduced passkeys, which is a new popular tech that should make it a lot easier to not worry about passwords in the future. He's got it working, just needs a little bit of testing now to make sure it scales out properly. But yeah, that's the first step that he's trying to complete, just the first happy path is to get the user journey onboarded and registering. This is a test app that we're building on Heroku. And as you can see in the suggestions there, with my personal password, should be careful with this. It's got passkeys enabled and I can instantly log in. There's nothing else going on in here right now, but obviously that journey is sort of settled up. So if I go back to this wireframe, we've pretty much got this process completed. What I then want to look at is the journey for people to provide their scores. So again, very, very basic wireframe level. This is not the end visuals, but I was just trying to work out what the actual journey would look like. You join up, you put your scores in for the 5 factors out of 5. Then I've only got 4 stars there. Hit save, and then you've instantly got your flower visual of how your scores look. So that's quite nice from a personal perspective. And then obviously the power is in numbers with your teams. You can invite your teammates to join in. So this is when you get an opportunity to put in email addresses, ideally validated against your own. So it's the same domain name, but we'll worry about that later on. Or a deep link, invite link that you can use to kind of go straight into your team's data set. So that's the kind of journey I've kind of created so far. And this is what I'm going to be basing, the visuals around to start with, because this is the simplest happy path I could think of to get data in for an individual. And then I can look at a very similar journey. So if you've got that invite link, you should be able to step over the first step. You don't need to actually register yet. You can do it later. Straight into your scores, see your personal scores, and then you should see your team's overall scores as well. So as I said, Mark sent me a few options, but before I got there, I did find a few others. There was one on Sprout Social that I quite like the look of. They've got their own design system publicly available to review, to look at. And I do like the sort of style that they've used here. It's very clean, very, trying to think of the right language for this. It's very simple, which is what I'm trying to go down the route of. Lots of white spaces used, nice clear round fonts, nice loud colors as well. I love the kind of the do's and don'ts as well, especially, this is just a variation, but when they're looking at line charts, something that I will be using on Petals at some point is to make sure they're rounded and not sharp. And again, I like this because this lends better into that organic feeling of what we're doing with Petals. And another sort of subliminal note is Sprout Social is very closely linked with the kind of organic feeling of petals and flowers. Anyway, I like the look of this framework. I've not gone into the detail too much. Again, very bright colour palette to pick from. I was looking at the forms. I can see here, again, very clean, very simple, but still quite, easy to adapt. And I've not looked at the code underneath, but just seeing how simple it could be. I don't want to overcomplicate this, nothing, groundbreaking here, but it's already out there. I'd rather use something that's available than start from fresh. That's something we maybe do later down the line. I also had a quick look at the Orbit design system as well by kiwi.com. Again, they've got some nice sort of patterns in here. I was looking around yesterday, designing forms, talk about the layouts. I need some examples. I don't remember whether they work. Yeah, let's go look through some components. So badges. You can see here when it loads eventually, there's a little pill of like a badge. There's button groups and buttons. This is clearly designed and built for a React app. We're not necessarily going down the React route at the moment. We're just keeping it quite static. We're using Python and a few other things like that. So I'm not sure if this will translate, but it's giving me some ideas about the elements I need to factor into the design system. Again, this one didn't provide much by means of charts. The form fields are very simple, but I was just getting a flavour of what's out there for now, just to kind of understand what I could use. So let's have a look at the Atlassian one. I've not even looked at this yet. I literally just opened it up, and I just want to go straight to the components and see what these visuals look like. If you've not used Atlassian before, it's quite a common, popular suite of business tools, generally for software engineering, and a lot around sort of knowledge sharing, around project management, around code control with Bitbucket and Jenkins and tools like that. So it's quite familiar to the software engineering community. So I did feel like this could be a natural starting point. Lots of familiar UI components, a lot of familiar journeys as well. Let's go and have a look through this to see what sort of components are available. The obvious ones for me are like buttons and inputs. So let's have a look at some of the buttons. Yeah, it's actually semi-transparent. Again, you can see this syntax is built for React. Whether this CSS can be pulled across into a non-React app, I don't know. But yeah, the buttons are as you'd expect. Here I've got some colours now, some primary buttons, subtle buttons. Okay, that's not too bad. Again, warning buttons, danger buttons. I don't think I'll be using these much. They're normally like the "don't delete me" or "are you sure you want to do this?" Okay, what else have we got? Let's look at the form actually, see what else is going on in this. Hopefully a big bundle of UI components. There we go. There's the onboarding journey, right? This feels like Jira / Trello. And in a way, that might reassure software engineers if they've decided to a system that looks like them. Maybe on a different domain, it's great, but we'll go from there. Put some customizations of form fields, so changing the colors. Okay, nice. Drop downs again. So I don't think I'm going to use these much, actually, drop downs. What I'm looking for actually is like a rating system, like a scaling sort of, like 1 to 5. I like the fact that back on the wireframe here, the user can just do how many stars they want to rate that latest iteration. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we tend to do with Petals. If we go back to this, is there anything like that? I'm just going to scroll down this for now to see what we've got, because there's obviously some drop downs, which is the backup. I don't really like them. Or you can go with button radios. Here you go. So this is like a rating scrubber, which again could work if you could put some steps in there. Sort of say, well, we only have like hard locks to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's way too open for my liking. What else have we got? Yeah, so there's nothing there really to kind of indicate you can do like checkbox. So we all know and love that one. Date time picker, don't need that. So look what the flags are. Okay, the messages like that. Sure. Again, that could be quite useful at points. This is what I mean. This is going to be a very ad lib session. It's not something that I have really planned a lot, but yeah, be quite useful at some point. Progress bar. No, progress indicator. Track. Yeah, what is? Ooh, okay. No, that could be useful later down the line. Range, again, we've seen this, but can you restrict your controlled? So you got the value on disabled. Yeah, select. See, I'm not feeling this now. Toggle. Yeah. Loads of other bits here. So no. I might have to go back to the drawing board on this. What was the other one that Mark suggested? It was Salesforce and Shopify. Let's look at Shopify. Shopify. Polaris. As you can tell, I've not looked at these before. It's been a long time since I've done proper design as well. I've been in leadership far too long, let's say. Let's look at some of the components actually, so go straight into it. So call out cards. This is like data visualization. Cards, cool, yeah, grids, standard stuff. Here we go, here's some form stuff. So choice list, color picker, combo bot. Interesting. They seem to have a bit more on this one to use. And again, people are quite familiar with the Shopify experience now. It's quite popular. Here we go. There's a range slider again. It's open, but then look at this with steps. This might be better. Ah, nice. So I can limit that to maybe 5 steps. That's interesting for the future. We can do like that. Prefix. Suffix. Yeah, this one might work well with steps actually. I mean, you've got React, you've got HTML, so you can just drop in the CSS by look of it, which is quite nice. Lots of extra markup around it though. It's my pain point with React. That's interesting. I like the fact that it's got that there. There's many charts in here actually. That's the other thing I want to bear in mind, because I want to do some good visualizations that we can extend later down the line. Feedback progress bar. Nice, that could be useful. That's going to be useful. Let's have a look. Data tables, like a table. Again, simple way to visually show that content. When I'm looking at the team level view, ideally we'll have a row per individual with the 5 columns. It'll be anonymized to start with and build up to names being shown next to each other. So that could work quite nicely. What else is there? Don't seem to have many charts in here though. Grid. Yeah, there's just actual layout. Patterns have they got? Content. I'm surprised with someone like Shopify, they've not got something for like charts and graphs. So data visualizations, here we go. Here we go. Okay, right. So it's got some language about how to use them. So where are these things? Skipping labels. Okay, so it's giving you the rules of charts. Where are the actual visualizations though? I feel like we're missing something on this. Again, line charts, right? What we just saw on this one around, you know, not having jagged lines. We can do something like that with the Polaris framework. I want to know where they've actually got the components to use these. Okay. Not seeing them. I've probably missed it. You can get the idea of the sort of route I'm going to go down then. At this point, I'll deprecate stuff down here. That's interesting. Tokens. Okay. Ooh, some icons. Always love an icon. Yeah, I just want to see where I can actually apply. If I've got any charts that you can actually just pull in. Because this thing here. Okay. I'll have to dig around that a bit more. So let's have a look. Polaris data patient with an S. I always get it wrong. It's just the way I am. Yeah, it's the same page. Let's go back. I want to know how to use them. I guess I can just use this as an indicator to see what you can do. You've got bar charts, you've got column charts. Again, they've got the do's and don'ts. I like this. Interactivity. Not sure if that's coming through. Oh, yeah, don't use more than 4 lines. It's what I've done actually so far in a custom app, another bit for Petals. We have like a big thick black line for the average over time, and then 5 coloured lines to indicate which each dimension as well. Interesting that they sort of suggest you don't do that. I wonder what the context is, because it can get busy, I get that, but ultimately it's nice to have that kind of single view. And the way I've done it elsewhere is you kind of just toggle on and off certain lines. Diametric. I like these sort of things. Right. So that's where I'm at the moment anyway. Really frustrating. I can't see any charts to just start playing around with. Illustration again. Yeah. So I've got my sort of graphics I want to use. So maybe pull out the colour palettes from this. This is on a purple background, and I've used it on a few other colour variations. Looks like yellow seems to work okay. So I might think about some of this as well. Just frustrating, I can't see any charts. The patterns. Yeah, I'll have a look at that later, I think. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to create a design system for this. I might go down the route of Shopify then. It seems a lot closer to what I want to achieve. Atlassian was missing a few too many things for me. I mean, it was all right. It had some areas, but again, the fact there's, I might need to look at some extensions as well. I mean, we've not built this on any existing architecture like React or anything like that, so I can't just kind of go use something that's already out there. What's the other one that Mark called out actually? Salesforce. Let's have a quick look at that one. In fact, I've not looked at material design. Let's go down that route. Let's see what it looks like nowadays. Don't have a problem with it. I just kind of got bored of seeing it all the time back in the day. But, you know, it's a familiar UX. Most of us know how to use Google and use it on a regular basis. So go through some of these components. What we've got forms wise. Chips. Is that what I'm thinking it is? Potentially. No, it's not. What else have they got components wise? We've got slider, maybe. Yeah, maybe this is where you get there. Okay, so you got some downloads for it. Just want to see an example. Yeah, so you can set and things in there. Maybe I'm being a bit. I don't know. It is popular, I get it, but badges, buttons, cards, carousels, chat box. Yeah, frustratingly, it's a radio button or something like that. I want it more horizontal option. Yeah, these aren't interactive, are they? Yeah. Here we go. Nope, that's just more documentation, guidelines. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Sliders. These are the ones I think for the standard rating system that I'll be using here. Be nice if it was just 1 to 5 buttons. Sliders as a fallback with steps to limit the amount of options available. But it's interesting, yeah. Basically, this was my foray into design systems, live and recorded. And it's made me realise I need to do a bit more homework without rambling along. So I'm going to wrap it up at that point. If you want to have a play and find out more when this app drops, then get in touch. You can go to the website petals.team. You can join the newsletter, petals.team/newsletter. You can just follow me on all the socials, as you've seen. I'm documenting as much as possible. So follow along. There will probably be more of these sort of live hacking moments. And I'll follow up with some more snapshots very soon.